So in the 2021 NBA draft, Cleveland Cavaliers will have the third pick. The third pick is a very high pick, and Cleveland fans should definitely be happy, especially getting a pick that high in this year's draft that is touted as one of the more talented drafts in recent draft history. But the thing with the third overall pick is the fact that it's not like the first overall pick where it's pretty clear who's going to be selected first. There are multiple prospects who I could see going to the Cleveland Cavaliers with their third pick. So in today's video, I'm discussing the three most likely prospects that I think the Cavaliers will select with the third pick. I also will be discussing the chance that the Cavaliers trade the third pick for the number one pick, since that has been rumored a lot. But before we get into the video, I just want to shout you guys out for a lot of the support and new subscribers and all things like that. I really do appreciate you guys, and I'm going to keep posting every single day because you guys are just inspiring me. I really appreciate you guys. But also, don't forget to drop a like on this video, as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. I literally post every single day, and I'll try to goal of 1,500 subscribers. Comment this video, start conversation with me, as I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
But before we get into the potential prospects that they could select with the third overall pick, I want to address the rumors of the Cavaliers potentially trading for the number one pick. And to be honest, Cleveland has reportedly really been looking to trade Collin Sexton. And I think if they are going to trade for that first overall pick, Sexton would likely be included. And I think if that's like the case, the Cavaliers have a legitimate chance to trade for the number one pick, because if I had to guess what the move would be, I would say Cleveland would probably get the number one pick from Detroit, and then Cleveland would send Collin Sexton and a second round pick along with the number 3 pick in this year's draft to the Detroit Pistons. The reason I think this makes sense for the Pistons is the fact that Sexton was a legit all-star level player last season, as he nearly averaged 25 points and he did it on good efficiency. Although he has weaknesses like his passing, I still think he's a guy who will be an all-star a few times in his career, and he's still young, so he definitely can help a team in the future. And although with the third overall pick they won't be able to get a guy like Cade Cunningham, I don't think getting a guy like Evan Mobley or Jaylen Green is a huge drop-off. It's a drop-off, but it's not a huge one. And for Cleveland, they would do this because apparently Sexton has been a locker room cancer, and apparently they're just looking to trade him. I'd be surprised if he's on the roster by the start of next season. And with the way things are looking, they could trade Sexton in return for a real asset. And if it's the case, if it was like the case where Cleveland wasn't looking to trade Sexton at all, then I think they would be a little more hesitant to just trade Sexton to the Pistons, since they're already looking pretty good with their backcourt. But since they are looking to trade Sexton, I think trading him to move up to the number 1 pick is definitely reasonable, because the guy who's going to be the number 1 pick in Cade Cunningham is, in my opinion, a guy who has superstar potential, and he's clearly the best prospect in this draft. And it's not really close. And Cleveland right now is just a place of sadness ever since LeBron left. But if they could get a guy like Cade Cunningham to come in and lead this team, it would honestly be huge. And I think this is a move that they need to make, because I doubt that duo of Garland and Sexton was going to go far due to their lack of height and defense. So them potentially getting a superstar in the making is definitely worth it. Now to get into the prospects. The first prospect that I think the Cavaliers might select with the third overall pick, if they do keep it, is Evan Mobley. He's a guy who might not necessarily have the same superstar potential that a guy like Cade Cunningham has, but he definitely can be a really good player in the NBA. Mobley's a 7-foot, 215-pound center. A lot of people like to compare him to guys like Pau Gasol and Chris Bosh. What stands out about him most is due to the fact that he seems like a center who could be perfect for today's modern NBA, due to the fact that he's a guy who can switch onto the perimeter, and he's very quick for his size. He's also very good at protecting the rim, and he's a very fast big man who can often outrun other big men on the court in fast breaks for easy points. He's not really a good three-point shooter. He doesn't really attempt them, but he's pretty solid from the mid-range area, and in the post he has quite a lot of moves from face-ups and jump hooks and things like that. He's a pretty good passer outside of the post. He's not in the range of a Nikola Jokic or anything, nothing's like that, but he can definitely hit open teammates. He's also shown the ability to handle the ball at a decent level for his size, which is definitely a huge advantage, because we've seen with centers like Bam Adebayo, Jusuf Nurkic, and Nikola Jokic that could really elevate a team. Some of his weaknesses is the fact that he apparently has a pretty weak motor, because a lot of times it seems like he doesn't want it as badly as he should, and some people question how much he actually loves the game of basketball. He's also 7 foot, yeah, he's only 215 pounds, so there's a chance he could get out-muscled by bigger NBA centers when he first comes into the league, but I think if he starts working out more, that can be fixed. But nonetheless, Mobley seems like one of the best big man talents over the last few years, since guys like Anthony Davis and Karl-Anthony Towns were coming to the NBA. I truly believe there's a chance Mobley can end up as the best player coming out of this draft. I don't think I would necessarily bet on it because Dade is really just good and different, but I do think Mobley will be good. He does remind me of a center like James Wiseman due to the fact that he's actually known for being good on defense, and he simply has more moves. He doesn't remind me of James Wiseman, if I didn't make that clear. So Mobley is clearly a very promising prospect, and there have been reports that Cleveland is a bit unwilling to offer Jarrett Allen a proper contract that he wants, so maybe Mobley could be the answer to that if they let Jarrett Allen walk. But personally, I think Jarrett Allen is a very good center and he's still so young, so I think they should probably look to select someone else and re-sign Allen. I also think there's a decent chance that the Rockets could select Mobley with the second pick, so he may not even be available. But I think Mobley and Darius Garland would be a really good duo. It's just that this Cavs team is so devoid of talent, it's kind of sad. But Mobley would be a really good fit on this team. I just don't think he has the superstar potential, and I think the Cavaliers are in need of a guy who can come in and be a superstar level player. The next potential prospect I think the Cleveland Cavaliers could potentially select with the 3rd overall pick is Jaylen Green. Green is a 6'5" shooting guard who probably has the best athleticism and vertical jump in this draft class. He's very explosive and he has a first step that really helps him get to the basket easier than most other prospects. He can finish plays above the rim and he excels in transition. Not only does he attack the rim with such aggression, but he does it with finesse when he needs to. He draws fouls at a good rate, which is an underrated skill you need in the NBA to be an elite scorer. He's shown the ability to create his own shot and get shots off with minimal space. He's a pretty streaky shooter, but when he's on fire, he's nearly unguardable. To point out some of his weaknesses, it's the fact that although he has a pretty solid handle, his handles are very loose and they're not tight. Also, at times he relies on his natural athleticism a little bit too much. He also apparently struggles a lot with his shot selection as he takes too much jump shots at times when he should just attack the rim. He is not a good passer at all, as he's not really looking to get assists, and as I said, he's a pretty streaky 3-point shooter, and for his size, he's not an outstanding rebounder. He's not a liability or anything, but he's not a guy who's going to go out and get a bunch of rebounds. I also might have forgot to mention that he's actually a pretty solid defender due to his athleticism and quick hands. He's probably not going to be a lockdown defender unless he really tries, but he's far from a liability, and I'd say he's a pretty solid to good one. In my opinion, Green is a prospect who can either become a legit star in the NBA and maybe like a superstar due to his athleticism and his ability to make shots, and just he gives off that superstar vibe low key, or I could see him being a big bust in the NBA. He's a really hit or miss player. I can't really just see him being a role player, so I think he's either going to come into the NBA and be a star player, or he's going to be a bust. I really like Green's game and I think he has some really good potential. In my opinion, if Green is available by the time the Cavaliers are selecting, I think they should definitely pick him because Green is a guy who gives off superstar player vibes, as I said, and as I said, that is exactly what Cleveland needs. Cleveland doesn't really need a guy who could be a great piece to a winning team or just a casual all-star. The Cavaliers need someone who can lead their franchise and bring them back to the promised land, kind of how LeBron did. Not saying any of these guys are going to be the next LeBron, but you know what I mean. And I think Jalen Green, out of all of the prospects outside of Cade Cunningham, has the best chance to do that. That's not me saying Jalen Green will be better than Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs, or anything else, but that is me saying I feel like at this current moment, he has a higher chance of being a superstar than any of those guys. If I'm Cleveland, I would definitely select him if he's available because he would just be that great. Because you've obviously seen a guy like Colin Sexton who's an all-star level player, and they were still one of the worst teams in the NBA. So now it's time for them to take the big swing and try and get a superstar. If Green is available, they have to get him. The next prospect the Cavaliers should potentially look into getting is Jalen Suggs. Suggs is a 6'4" point guard who just plays the game very well. He's a very tough guard who will bring a lot of leadership to this team. Suggs has elite athleticism and he has a great feel when attacking the basket. And he has a very good ability when it comes to handling the ball. When you add in that he is very athletic, it's really scary. He often blows by defenders due to his quickness. Suggs is one of the best passers in the draft. He honestly might be the best passer in the draft. He's always looking for his teammates. He might even be a pass first point guard. I don't know if he's a generational passer or anything like that, but he definitely is a good one. He has an assortment of moves when it comes to finishing at the rim due to his athleticism and his ability to finesse. He's a very good rebounder for his height as he always attacks the glass. Suggs has the ability to play the shooting guard position due to how well he moves off the ball. Despite him only being 6'4", he's also a very good help defender due to his IQ and his ability to read and react the defense. Defensively, he can either play either guard spot due to the fact that he's very athletic, he plays with a lot of effort, and he has a high IQ. He's also good at stealing the ball and forcing turnovers. To voice some of his weaknesses, it's the fact that he's a very inconsistent from the three-point line and the free throw line, and he actually has like solid form, so it's not unrealistic to think that he could be a good shooter in the NBA. Just in college, he was very inconsistent. He also turns the ball over a lot, and on defense, sometimes he loses sight of his man. You might have heard it somewhere. I think an NBA player said, I think it was like Shaq. I don't know who said it, but someone said that Suggs wasn't the best player on his Gonzaga team because he wasn't the most aggressive player or something like that, and that definitely could be used as a negative sense, especially in the March Madness tournament. It seemed like Suggs got really passive in certain moments, and when it comes down to whether or not the Cavaliers should select Suggs, if I'm being honest, I don't think he's the guy they should pick, and this is due to the fact that the Cavaliers already have a great point guard in Darius Garland, who I think will be an all-star level player, and although I think Suggs can play the shooting guard position at a decent level, I just don't think he has the superstar potential that other prospects have. And this is not me just saying Suggs is bad, because I actually think he has a very high floor. I just don't see him being a huge bust in the NBA, and I see him at worst being a solid point guard in the league. I think he may even reach that all-star level, but I don't think he's going to be a guy who leads the franchise or anything like that. And I don't think the Cavaliers need a guy who's going to be just an all-star or a really solid player. They need a guy who's potentially going to like lead their franchise to the promised land. Unless they have really good confidence that Suggs is the best player available or like he's that guy, I think they should probably look somewhere else. But to conclude the video, I think the Cavaliers should really try and select Jaylen Green due to the fact that he has the second highest potential when it comes to being a superstar. And he just has that ick factor. He looks like a guy who can honestly be a superstar and a franchise player. Prospects like Evan Mobley and Jalen Suggs look to me as if they could be all-stars that are like secondary options on a really good team or anything like that. Not superstar players who are going to carry a team. But maybe I'm wrong. If you disagree, let me know, but that's just how I feel. If Green is available, they should definitely draft him. If the Rockets do select Green, which is kind of looking likely that they will, and I think they should select Evan Mobley because I think he's going to be a really good player, because I doubt he's going to be a bust, and I think he actually might be a really good fit on this team. So Cleveland has a lot of stuff to discuss. If I'm the Cavaliers, I would try and trade for the first overall pick, but I guess we'll just have to see. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know who you think the Cavaliers should draft with this pick. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. And this is my goal of 1,500 subscribers. Comments, video, conversation means I do respond to all of my comments. And I'm out.